Jen. What's up, boss? Hi, Carrie. Love seeing some new faces in here. What's up, Stickman? Vidant, Snow, good entry point. Okay, hang on. Question 1. How do you trade options? All right, so I'll get into that for sure. Let me go over a couple tickers here. Some great, some quicker stuff. Great trade in NVDA. Yeah, NVDA was so far it's working out. I mean, it was kind of a tough hold to be honest, but just kind of understanding. I'll get into Snow real quick, Vidant. But let me finish this NVIDIA thought. Going into a trade where you're kind of trying to buy overextension, trying to buy weakness on something, especially like a day like yesterday, you have to go into it with the mindset of you're going to be red to start the trade. That's just how it's going to work. Unless you buy the very, very, very bottom of it, you're going to be red at some point. And if you can't handle that, then it's just not a trade for you. So like when I'm going into a trade like that, I'm telling myself, all right, well, your whole job here is so pretty much I want to just kind of slowly buy into weakness as much as I can. I'm going to start with a tiny position. And if, obviously if you can't buy multiple contracts, then it's just not really a trade for you. But anyway, so I'm just trying to buy into weakness, like try to buy new low after new low. And I don't want to add too quickly. Once I start seeing it base out, that's when I can start adding more to the position to kind of fill it out. So then once we can start moving higher, it's going to start paying me. But you don't want to be overly patient on something like that, because to me the odds are very high that this would recover, and it did pretty decently today, but I think it can go a little bit further. The only problem is we have FOMC and some earnings tomorrow, which can kind of throw this off. It could really help NVIDIA get back to 135 plus, or it could rip the market down and this will go back under 120. So I'd rather be safe than sorry. But the last point I want to make there is, if you're too patient on that, you're going to try to wait for the bottom, typically you're going to miss it. So there's two things you can do there. You're either going to wait and miss the bottom, and then you have to be ready to buy it as it's kind of starting to move back up. Like today, if I didn't buy anything yesterday, I would have waited to see what it did today. And there's more I want to talk about this chart, but I'm going to do questions and stuff first, and then I'll kind of chart this out later on. But I would have tried to buy it as it was moving back through 123, moving back to its high of the day here. And you can see that's where a lot of buying did end up coming into this, right? I mean, this is a straight shot move. And I sent this chart in too when the chart looked like this. It was just something that I noticed, something that I see, and I think there's a high out. If we do break that, this is going to really start moving, especially through the high of the day. So anyway, so you're either going to be real patient and not buy the bottom, and it's kind of a safer thing to do, or you're going to end up trying to buy this as it's moving its way back up. And if you do that, to me, that's safer, but you're not going to, it doesn't give you a lot of chances to build a good position, because, let's say that we start buying it into this, start a full position early, real quickly, then it rolls over and then you're taking a full position loss kind of thing. So that's why I took the stance of just slowly buying into weakness yesterday. And honestly, the further it went down, the more I'm okay with it. But also it's, obviously it's hard to hold when it's, you're in the red and things are going against you, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. There's two stances to take that trade. And I wanted to, at least put that out there for y'all. So if there's any questions on that, please feel free to ask. But okay, so next, Monty, I'm going to get into options. If you could specify kind of more so what you don't know about options, just because now that I know you, I know that you do have some trading experience. So, I mean, are you just total beginner with options, or do you have any, more so specific things you want me to go over? Next, Snow, good entry point as a long-term equity holder. I mean, look, I'm not much of a long-term guy, but I know that Shy really likes Snow. But they were also buying it down here in the low 100s, right? 110, 120 area. So to me, like, this looks like a short-term breakout. This honestly looks pretty good for a move up into this gap over here. And the gap starts at 194, 195. So I'm interested in maybe a shorter-term trade But if you're talking in a long-term sense as like holding this for 5 to 10 years, I mean, I think that down here is not a bad area because this used to be in the 300s. I mean, let's just kind of go back here on a bigger time frame. $400, $500 a share, right? So in the grand scheme of things, this isn't a terrible place. Now that it's starting to move up, shows some strength, maybe it is a good long-term entry. But that's more so a question for Shy Finance. So Monty, you're saying you're a total options beginner. So I do have, so once you end up joining coaching, I do have a bunch of lessons recorded on options, but I'll just kind of briefly go over it real quick. So whenever you buy one share of something and the stock goes up $1, you make $1, right? It doesn't matter if you buy a share for $1,000 a piece and it goes up $1, you make $1 per share. When you buy options, it's just a way to leverage your money. Think of an option as a contract. Okay, so you know the basics in Greeks. Okay, so what exactly you're talking about how to trade them? Because I was about to go into explaining like what an option is there. You said you were a total beginner. Entry points, how to trade them. So Monty, it's the same way that you would trade a stock. Just because I'm buying options, options don't move a stock. Let me go over my Amazon trade today. So Amazon was really strong yesterday when most of the market was weak, right? So that was kind of what pinged my interest today. We had all-time highs here at 236. Obviously, it was super, super strong yesterday, right? We closed right under all-time highs. So today, if I were to, I could trade this the exact same way with shares as I would options, right? So I had the 240 calls for this week loaded up this morning pre-market. 240 is obviously all the way up here. Okay, but it doesn't matter. If I have calls, I want the stock to go up to make money, right? I think you know that if you know the basics and the Greeks and stuff like that. So if I were to trade this with equities, I would have still traded the same way, right? So I was kind of looking for a break through the high of the day here. I did end up trying it. We got this little pullback here. I tried it through the high of the day, ended up failing, took a small loss because I started with just a tiny starter position, I think like 5 contracts. Based out here, came up, kind of tested the high, didn't do anything, pulled back in. And I just started buying right here when I saw volume come in. It broke the high of the day. And then knowing that 236.40 was the all-time high, I just looked for it to break right through here. So whether I bought shares or options, it worked the same way. But if you're asking kind of why I was buying what contract, I was buying the 240 calls for this week just because I typically trade weekly options when I scalp things. I've been comparing options. It shows I made $200. My total is less than half that. Is that theta? So on paper trading, Monty, you're just probably going to get bad fills. That's probably the problem. Paper trading, sometimes there's like 5-minute delays, 15-minute delays. It's just not going to be up to speed like it would be on live trading. So that may be your issue. But back to my point. I mean, there's no difference. The only thing is options is just a way to leverage your money. So you don't need to go in with as much money. Like if I wanted to buy 100 shares of Amazon today, it would have been $23,000. But, or I buy 20 option contracts and that puts me in control of 2,000 shares. And, I get a $2 move on that. And, I made close to $800 in a matter of like 3 or 4 minutes. So it ended up paying pretty nicely. Obviously, I mean, I could have made a ton more on this if I would have held to 240, kind of like I wanted to do. But so, yeah, typically I buy right at the money, Grand Canyon. Today was kind of an exception. I bought a little bit further out of the money just because I knew that I was going to be getting in above 235. And, but 235 calls would have worked, 237.5 calls would have worked, 240 calls would have worked. I just went with the 240s. So yeah, Monty, I don't think that it's theta if you're, kind of day trading the options, especially if it says you're up 200 and you sell and then you're up like 100. That to me is just a bad fill on the paper trading side of things. It's not so much options. Theta is something is when you're holding it for a little bit longer and, the time decay is there. Any feeling on Tesla? I don't know. So for y'all that don't know, Tesla, there's a lot of big earnings tomorrow and Thursday. We have Tesla, we have Meta, We have Microsoft, and then we have Apple on Thursday. The others are tomorrow after hours. I don't know. My thoughts on Tesla is they've missed on their delivery numbers the last 2 times. Um, I think they have. I think they raised their prices maybe on some of their vehicles. I know that the Cybertruck came out. It was a lot more popular towards the end of the year last year. So I don't know. Um, there's always a chance Tesla comes out with a surprise, right? There's just always a chance for that to happen. But for me, Gallup makes I just there's no reason for me to gamble the earnings. I don't want to lose money on earnings if I don't need to. Could I make a nice earnings gain on that? Sure. If it goes up. I would probably bet the upside, but then again, it's like you don't want to be, sometimes Tesla will do good on their earnings, but let's say that Tesla does good and Meta and Microsoft do bad and the whole market comes down. Tesla's going to struggle, right? Tesla's going to come down with it. Maybe not that much, but let's say that you buy, the 420 calls and Tesla comes up to, 440, but then opens the day at 410 tomorrow, and you're going to be $20 out of the money or $10 out of the money. And then the IV on those contracts, right? Those contracts got real inflated for earnings. The IV is going to crush. So even though it went up in your direction, right, you're going to lose value with that IV crush. So it just makes it really hard. I don't know. I used to trade earnings. Sometimes I may YOLO some stuff, but it's just not really, to me, it's not efficient. It's not real trading. A lot of it is just gambling, unless you're buying multiple months out and trying to hold for a bigger trend, then it's not worth buying the same week expiration options on that, trying to catch an earnings move, because the odds are more against you than they are for you. I'm sure you guys go on Wall Street Bets and you see some of these crazy earnings trades. I mean, I could have made like $100,000 one summer. It was on Zoom earnings right when COVID was kind of starting. And honestly, it was a no-brainer. I should have swung some earnings on that just because you're right. No one's ever done the remote work. Zoom was the company. Those are very rare occasions when maybe it's worth it. But when there's no black swan events like that, to me, there's no reason to do that. I've seen a bunch of videos recently, and this guy is talking about the fastest way for you to get better at this, especially as a beginner, is to try to just like erase everything that you think that you've learned from all these different strategies and try to just stick with one and not, erase all the noise. Try to, just don't listen to any of these other YouTube traders or whatever. I mean, as I'm streaming on YouTube, but I think you get the point, right? Stop trying to do 10 things at once. If you can get really good at one specific thing and you just couldn't care less about how any other strategies are working, how the market's moving, how this penny stock went up 1,000%, and you could have made enough money to buy a house on it, whatever. That's when you're really going to get better at this, because I trade a very specific way. Mad Maverick trades a specific way. Bull, Jay, Quench, we all trade differently. And that doesn't mean that, one person's better than the other. That just also shows you that we're in our own lane. We're very good at what we do, and we don't really go outside of that, So if the stock is 500, why are there still calls for 300? So so you can buy in the money. The reason like options are a thing is because it gives you, quote unquote, the option to buy shares at a specific price, right? So let's say that, I buy a 350 call on Tesla. Let's say that I bought a 350 call on Tesla a year ago when it was down here in the, hundreds. And right now, it almost hit 500. I can either sell that contract for what it's worth, or I can exercise that contract to buy 100 shares per contract at 350 if I have the money, right? So if it's at 350 and I want to buy and I want to exercise one contract, I need $35,000 to then, even though Tesla's at 398 right now, I can buy shares at 350 because that's where my strike price was. That's in the money. So even though a stock is 500, you can still buy contracts at 300. They're going to be really expensive, but it gives you the option to buy stock down there. Monty, what's up, Latvian? Trade shop today. I wish I did. I saw that move on shop. How about NVO? Why it's not running on news? I don't really know much about NVO. I don't know the news either, but at the end of the day, Galmex, whenever someone asks me about news and asks why is the stock not moving on specific news, I tell them that news isn't very significant. If the news is significant, the stock would be moving. You know what I mean? If the DeepSeek AI stuff that came out yesterday and NVDA and the whole market didn't move, it obviously wouldn't be that big of a threat, wouldn't be that big of a deal, right? But when you do have something come out and it's a big deal, the market's going to move. So I don't know what news it was or anything like that on NVO. Maybe, even sometimes you can look at it the opposite way. I've seen guys trade a way where, let's say that, Apple comes out with a new iPhone, right? But it's not that great. And Apple stock is up like 3%. Sometimes people short that. They're like, I think it's up too much. I think the stock is up too much on news that to me is not very significant. And they would then take the opposite side of that trade. So sometimes you can kind of differentiate how you feel about it, but most of the time the market's going to move, the money is going to move around the way that, it should. Nice move to 117. What did? Oh, shop. Yeah, shop looked pretty good today. Pretty solid move. I don't know. I was happy with Amazon. I feel like I probably should have held that a lot further. I sold up here at like 237, like 25. That was the rest of my sell there. But it's hard for me to, I thought this would come back into 236, bounce around, slowly get up there. Typically, Amazon isn't something that's going to move straight away. And it did. And those contracts paid. That would have been over 100% trade for us. But, whatever. It's Tuesday. I'm happy with it. So if I buy a 300 call when the stock is 500, do I get the profit that is gained before it was in the money? Well, if you buy a 300 call and the stock is at 500, it's already in the money. But let's say that I buy if you buy a 300 call and the stock's at from 300 to 500, yeah. So you would get the gain from, if you bought it, if the stock's at 300 and you bought a 300 call and it goes to 500, you're going to be up a significant amount on that contract with profit. And then you can use that profit to help you buy, and exercise that contract to buy those shares. Yeah. I feel Apple is too high and overhyped. Yeah, it could be. I don't know. I mean, this thing's been running for 2 days. I do think that it was good news for it. And also with it being down so much, this just gave it an opportunity to run. So I do think that it could come back down, in the short term, maybe just a little bit. I don't know that I see it coming back to 220 quickly. But, the DeepSeek stuff was good for Apple and Amazon because they wouldn't, if this is true, then they wouldn't have to spend as much as they're kind of planning to on their, AI infrastructure, right? What's your prediction for tomorrow? I don't know. There's a lot going on tomorrow. I honestly this is kind of where new traders are very different from experienced traders. Tomorrow, there's a lot going on, right? We have a bunch of big earnings tomorrow after the close, and we have an FOMC announcement. For all that don't know what that is, that means that the Fed is going to announce the interest rate decision, whether they're going to raise interest rates, keep them flat, or cut them lower. And honestly, I don't know how the market's going to react to either of those decisions. But, that's going to move the market a lot. And like I said, we also have earnings. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. And honestly, the market may be kind of slow to start the day. We get the FOMC announcement at 2 o'clock Eastern. Market may go up, down, whatever. And then you have some big earnings after the end of the day. So new traders, they're going to come into that day thinking, let's go. There's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of action, a lot of money to be made. And it's really the opposite. The market's going to be, typically it's pretty choppy. There's no clear direct move. And, think about it from this perspective. Let's say that you had $100 billion and you're managing a big fund, or you got a bunch of traders under you and they're all trading your money. Would you rather be super involved in a day that nobody knows the specific outcome and things aren't clear and you're in the markets waiting on a decision? Or are you going to be more standoffish and kind of sit back and wait to see where the market's going to head, what the interest rate decision is, what these big earnings are for these big companies, and then make a decision, right? You're probably going to sit back and wait and do that rather than try to trade a bunch and bring a bunch of volume to the market. So when big money guys are going to be sitting to the side, that's going to lower the volume in the market, and that's going to make things much harder to trade. There's going to be a lot more chop, harder entries, less follow through. It's just a lot harder to trade. So tomorrow, I honestly think I may not even take a single trade. There's guys that I know from trading on a actual trading desk that won't even trade on FOMC days. They just won't even come. That's, and a lot of them have had really bad days on FOMC days, or just learned from looking at statistics. And I tell you guys, you need a journal, you need to do this stuff to compile data about your trading style. If they go back and they say that, okay, 90% of the time I'm losing money on FOMC days, what's an easy fix to that? Not trade that day. Could there be an outlier day when the market rips or dumps and you can make money? Sure. But most of the time, if you're going to lose money on FOMC days, you need to just sit back and not trade it. So, I'm not live streaming tomorrow, so I'll be here in the morning and look at things, but there's a very high chance I don't even take a trade. It's been a good start to the week. I'm not going to blow it. I'll manage the rest of this NVIDIA swing that I'm in. But other than that, there's no want for me to try to trade tomorrow. From 300 to 500, what if it's already at 500 and I buy the 300s is what I'm asking. So, it's obviously going to be very expensive. I don't honestly know a perfect answer on that, Monty. I'm sure that you could do that. Sometimes people do that, expecting a move much higher, but no one's going to buy a 300 call, when the stock's at 500 and it just, expiring in a few days. I don't even know if we're going to have those contracts, but honestly, I don't know. That's just not really my style. It's nothing I've ever even considered. So, that's something you want to do. You may just want to look it up, but I wouldn't really focus on that. If you're going to be looking to trade options day to day, it's going to, I would like you to join, my free streams and stuff like that. Try to learn more from a shorter term side. That may be a question for Mad Maverick as well. They did today. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing I've ever really considered. With a week to expire, I assume you don't hold them very long. Yeah, so Grand Canyon, most of my trades are going to be under 10 minutes of time with a week to expiration. However, I'm also in a trade right now that I've signaled and everything to my coaching members and stuff that I bought a month out expiration and on NVIDIA. So I was buying NVIDIA 130 calls for February 28th expiration. It's 1 month away yesterday. And that's something I've held, obviously yesterday overnight, and I held most of that position today. I did sell some for profit. So there has been some swing trades that I take, but when I'm day trading, live trading and stuff in the morning with everyone, most of my trades are under 10 minutes of time. So yeah, I'm not holding them very long for sure. Any long-term option you have in your mind, like Fastly, Intel, any good fundamentals for long-term? Nothing that I have off the top of my head. Caltmex. Again, I'm not much of a long-term guy. I think Intel is very slow. Not really something that I would like to invest in long-term at the moment. But again, I would talk to Shai with any of your long-term questions. He's going to be the man for that. And Quench. Tomorrow, just your day off, just chill and go back to work the day. Yeah. So, I could. Mulus, and that's why you need to keep up with the news in the market, right? So I'll send in like the website that I use. That should be it. Let me here 1 second. Let me make sure that's right. I don't know if I spelled calendar right. Here, I'll just send the site in. This is the actual link. So that's where I look. So you can see like FOMC announcement is tomorrow 2 p.m. Eastern. It's always that time. and it's once a month. So yeah, typically I would just kind of chill tomorrow. I mean, that doesn't mean I can't sit here and look at the market for a little bit, kind of see where things are, see where they open up. I do have a trade still on, so I will pay attention to things. But just I just know in like the back of my head, there's a very low chance of me taking a trade, if that makes sense. Can y'all could y'all not hear me right there? I think I accidentally muted myself. Oh, sorry. So what I was saying was, I could still show up tomorrow and look at the market. I do have positions still on that I'm going to pay attention to, but I just know in the back of my head when there's a bunch of a bunch of news coming out and stuff like that, I'm going. I just know there's a very low chance that I'm going to end up taking a trade tomorrow. I think that's what y'all missed. What stocks are you trading options on? Do you focus on Amazon, NVDA, or are you looking for some specific signals, some weakness due to news? So I mean, it's kind of all the above. What you're talking about there for Grand Canyon. Um, so I focus on a lot of the same stocks. Obviously when like examples of me trading other things are like during COVID, vaccine stocks are really hot. When crypto is booming, crypto stocks, sometimes I'll trade that. Like when the Boeing door flew off, I traded Boeing a little bit. There are times where I can branch out and trade other things, but most of the time I'm going to be trading like the Mag 7, the Magnificent Seven, Apple, Amazon, Google, Tesla, NVIDIA, Netflix. Um, I don't, Microsoft, right? Like the biggest companies in the world. I stick to those because those have the most volume. I honestly kind of enjoy keeping up with them just as a company, right? Because we all know those companies. We all have iPhones and TVs and Instagram and stuff like that, right? So we can keep up with those companies. I just enjoy it, but I only trade those. I never trade penny stocks. I very rarely go outside of that watch list. So after years and years of trading the same stocks, you really learn how they work. When are they moving the right way? When are they behaving the right way? When do they have high volume, low volume? Just little things that you'll start to pick up on over time of trading the same exact names, all the time, watching them every day. It doesn't mean trading them every day. I trade Netflix maybe 3 times a year, but I still pay attention to it almost every day because and I just know that because it's not a stock that I can trade every day. Typically, volume's really low. It's almost $1,000 stock. But when there's news on it, or when there's earnings on it, or some sort of catalyst, volume will come to that stock, and I can make a ton of money on Netflix. But other than that, I won't trade it. There's just not a lot of opportunity there. And I know that from watching it and trading it for years, if that makes sense. When you buy a contract for only that day, what time increments is theta in? Minutes, hours, etc. I don't know exactly, Monty. I don't know that there is a specific time frame, but that number that you see on theta is how much that contract is going to lose that day, regardless. So, typically on a Monday, it's going to lose value kind of slow, but on a Friday when it's about to expire, it may be a little bit slower early in the morning, but as we're coming into close and those contracts are out of the money, they're going to really start losing value quickly. So, theta is time decay on an option contract. So think about the contract losing value slowly, regardless of if it's going in your direction or not. Yeah, I do use puts. I'm not biased in any way. I'm not a bull or a bear, but in a market environment when we're in a bull market, most of the time I'm going to be trading calls. But no, I trade puts and calls. I honestly I rather trade puts. I rather trade puts. Yeah. What else you guys got for me? Only about halfway through here. Do you guys like the new time change? Typically, I do this at 9 p.m. Eastern, but we switched it up to 7 p.m. Eastern tonight just to see kind of how it worked. What happened with NVDA? I do not know. I have no idea. I don't know what this company is. Looks like there was a little spike today, maybe on some news, but it came right back down. So I don't really see a whole lot. Austin hyped it a little. Yeah, so he must have liked something on this. I did get volume early on. I don't know. You trade crypto forex. I do not trade forex. I do not trade crypto. I have some crypto long-term investments, but I don't have any. I don't day trade it ever. Oh yeah, Wyatt, you like that one? I think this is Wyatt's first lesson. Yeah, Latvian. That's how it goes. We'll get them in here. Or they honestly probably think that this is like some sort of scheme or something. But they'll learn the hard way, you know? Sounds like they are. I started with penny stocks too. I thought Wall Street Bets is like the most trusted, awesome chat room I ever found when I first started when I was like 15. I thought it was like, I made like $100 off some random stock that I saw them all talking about. And I was like, this is it. Like, this is what I'm going to do. So think about how far, I've come in that sense, right? So stop, I don't want you guys focusing day to day on how good or bad you're doing. Look back in a year and see how much you've changed, but stay consistent, come to the lessons, do the work. And I promise you, if you can just document what you do, it will go a long way. What's up, Dugo? You see them making a new American Psycho? So why do we trade options versus the equities? So if I were trading stocks that were cheaper, I would trade equities. But when I'm trading, for example, trading Meta, it's $675 a share right now. So, if I bought 10 shares, that's, 6.7K, right? It's $6,700 to buy 10 shares. And if it goes up $1, I make $10 on a $6,700 investment. Okay. If it goes up $5, I can make 50. So you could trade equities, if I had a, multi-million dollar account and, using risk management on that and buy $100,000 worth of Meta and trade it with equities, I would do it. But with most everyone here, no one has that kind of money to trade with. So that's why we use options. Like today, I was in control of 2,000 Amazon shares for I don't know, I think about 20 at about give or take $200 a piece, so $4,000, and I made $800 on that. That's a 20% gain. Does that make sense, Oliver? It's obviously a more leveraged way to trade, right? So percentage wise, you can make a lot more and lose a lot more. So, as long as you can manage that risk, right? If I can typically make 20 or 30%, I would want to only lose about 10 to 15%. And then if I can win more than I lose, you're good. You just have to be able to take those losses where you have to. I started the day with a loss. I bought 5 contracts at like $1.80 and lost like, I don't know, like $70 on it or something, or $100. And then I came back and made 800 something on it. So, I mean, the win very outweighs, the loss. That's just part of it. So I mean, it's the same as equity. It's the same as trading. It's just a leverage way to do it. Um, So I hope that made sense, Oliver. The downside is it's more leveraged, and you could lose a bigger amount of money faster. But then again, you don't need as much money, you know, to make a solid return. I've traded options in the past, so I know how to have the account. So let's say I'm starting the day one. I have 2,000. How would I start? What do I read? What do I look for? Grant, so I don't exactly know what you're asking. Are you asking like how much I would want you to be going in with per position? Are you asking what stocks to trade? Yeah, for sure, Oliver. Yeah, read my mind. How do you want $800 with $2,000 on Amazon stock? I was in with 4,000 on Amazon roughly. That's just with options, Mulus. That's what I'm talking about here. So what stocks? So I mean, look again. I can't tell you guys what to do. I only know what I'm good at. I trade the way that I trade. I live trade, guys, 4 times a week. 2 times I do it for free, and the other 2 times are for premium. So I literally sit here and I'm just like, I'm looking at this stock. I share my screen. I literally say that I'm in on the mic. I walk through the trade. I say when I'm out. I give the trade idea beforehand. I hold your hand through the trade. So, I can't just say you need to go buy XYZ tomorrow, right? I can't do that. Every day is different. So that's my job here, though. I could see that both of you guys are new and you may just not know how things work here, but I'm the day trading coach. So that's what I do. I wake up, I do a pre-market review where I show up 15 minutes before the open. I talk through what I like for the day, answer questions just like I'm doing now. Market opens, and I literally live trade in front of you. I tell you what I'm buying, when I'm buying, how I'm buying it, what I'm seeing, what I'm liking, what I'm not liking, and when I'm selling. So that's probably going to be the easiest way for you to learn how to do this is to do it that way, unless you want to trade a different way. Unless you want to swing trade and you want to buy and hold something for multiple days, then you need to go to like the swing trading coach, stuff like that. Mula. So yeah. So again, I traded options. I didn't just buy shares. I bought the 240 calls today, and I bought each of them for about $200. I bought 20 of them, and they went up about $40 in value. A couple minutes, I sold them. My win percentage is pretty high. Obviously, a lot of it will depend on the quality setups that I'm getting. Sometimes when I have an A+ setup, I'm willing to go in with a lot of money. 5-10 grand. When I have like B- setups or just setups that aren't, they're not terrible, but they're not like, really solid. I may go in with $1,000 or $2,000 and try to make a couple hundred rather than trying to make a couple thousand. So I would say my win percentage is really high. Honestly, I would even say over 50%. But I would let other people answer that. I mean, do y'all think I have a higher win percentage? You guys that follow me, there's a couple of y'all in here. Yeah, that's good, Monty. You can always reach out to me, but take it slow. It's not something you want to rush into. So you can day trade contracts. Sorry for the question. I've been swing trading equities forever. Yeah, so I can day trade option contracts. Yeah, that's all I do. It's just like day trading equities, but you're buying contracts. Ace on YouTube. When buying leaps, is it way out of the money or in the money is better? I think typically people go a little bit further out of the money, not crazy far out of the money, but they will go out of the money just so they can gain value on those premiums as it goes to that level. Yeah, Monty, that's perfect. That's what I want you to do. Which lesson you recommend to learn about every type of trade in the portfolio? I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. Are you trying to figure out like a couple different strategies, Mulus? Because I'd rather get you a little bit more of a basic answer on that, on what direction to go to. He tells you what the contract is when he tells you when to get in. Yes, that's it. It's my first day. How do you get a coach? All right, Grand Canyon, let me add you as a friend here. I just sent you a friend request on here just so you don't get any scammer Ethan's. And so coaching, guys, it's gonna be $40 a month. The only thing is you will not get the premium live tradings, but I do a coaching lesson on Thursday nights, and you also get access to all my recorded videos. If you do premium, which is $140 a month, or you can do, like buy 2 months, get one free kind of thing, stuff like that. There's deals all going on. If you do premium, you get coaching included in that as well. So you're not buying both, if that makes sense. But I will go ahead. I think I have the link right in here somewhere. Well, there's also a 5-day free trial for premium that you can do. If anyone's, I'll just go ahead and send that in here for any of the free people that would like it. You'll get inducted on Sunday night, so next Sunday, and you won't get access to any of the coaching stuff just because it is a 5-day trial and there's a bunch of recorded videos in there that you're not allowed to take with you on the trial. But other than that, you'll get a look at the premium side of things. But if you are ready for a coach, Grand Canyon, I can get you set up. I'll go ahead and DM you right now just so we have something there. There we go. Yeah, it's good to know. Yeah, you guys can paper trade options as well if you're super, super new to it. I've been trading for, I think about 6 years now. I'm on my 6th year. Towards the end here in a couple minutes, I'm going to kind of go over some charts for tomorrow, just kind of chart with you guys to look at some things, and then we'll get out of here. We've got about 15 minutes left. But yeah, y'all can ask whatever you want. Tickers, you could ask about my trading experience, how I trade, anything. There's no bad I do this once a week, so I mean, seriously, there's no bad questions. Ask whatever you would like. Crass, I do not. I use level 2. That's kind of close to Bookmap and order blocks, so that's where I can see where orders are stacking up. I do use that, but most of my trading is going to be price action related and just kind of logical reasoning behind trades. You don't need a ton of indicators to be good at this. Honestly, the less indicators, the better. Everyone, when they start off, they want to try to find the secret formula indicator that's going to give them all these answers, and that's just, you're going to lose money that way. If it was that easy, everyone would do this, and those indicators would be bought and made private. Oh, he is, huh? I might have to run some Warzone with him then, D20. Setting, I mean, it all depends. It all depends. I mean, day trading, you can make a lot, but there's just higher risk there. There's more activity. Swing trading, you could catch some really big runners as well. It all depends on the trades you take. If I can make 100% trades in a week or something, that's, I can make a crazy return on that, or I can make 1,000% return swing trade. It really all depends. But I mean, most of the biggest trades you're going to see made are with options, just because it leverages your money, unless you bought NVDA at $5 a share kind of thing. Is it still a good time to buy NVIDIA, or will the price dip below the market close value? I think yesterday was a good spot to buy NVIDIA. I mean, I bought it yesterday. I bought month out call options, but I'm honestly looking for just a couple day recovery on this up to 130 and above, and I'm looking to take profit there. I do think yesterday was a good time to maybe long term invest. I mean, could it come lower? Sure, if more stuff comes out about this deep seek stuff, but I didn't trust that news very much yesterday. I didn't think that it was, there's just no possible way that these multiple trillion-dollar companies that we have in our country had absolutely no clue about this, and that they're just completely blown out of the water with this Chinese 3% of the cost AI. So I just didn't believe it. So when I see the most valuable company in the world, NVIDIA, drop 18% at one point, I am a buyer. Regardless if it, may go down, over the year, I think that there's going to be a short-term recovery on that. I think there's, everyone wanted to buy this stock just a little while ago. So when you get a chance like that, to me, that's a no-brainer for a short-term trade. I think NVIDIA is a great long-term hold. It's just, it's the future of technology, or it's at least going to have a really big stance in it. You don't only day trade, right? Or all your trades? Most of my trades are day trades, TGO. About 90% of them are, but I do some swing trades here and there when I find good opportunities. I've done pretty well on swing trading, honestly, recently. So a better platform to use over, say, Schwab trade. So, I mean, what you're looking at right now is Schwab. I mean, this is Thinkorswim. It's the Thinkorswim platform, but Schwab owns it now. I always recommend this one. I buy and sell interactive brokers, but you guys don't really need that, especially if you're a beginner, because you pay for it every month and stuff like that. But Weeble's good. I don't know much about E-Trade, but I think Weeble and Thinkorswim are, I think, to me, like the best ones to kind of start off on. I started on Thinkorswim, and I think I'll stay on this forever. I don't buy and sell on it anymore, but I use it for charts every day, and I don't plan on switching ever unless I'm forced to. I just know the platform super well. I love the way it looks. I love the tools, all of that. Well, we got about 13 minutes here, guys, 12 minutes. You can ask some more things if you would like, but I'm going to start charting some things up here. Do you trade QQ and SPY? So I don't trade them, but I watch them every day. Are they any different than a single ticker? Yeah. So, I mean, QQQ and SPY is the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, right? So those are ETFs, those are futures. So an easy way to explain it is like the S&P 500 is the top performing 500 stocks, in the, I believe in the US. And, like I said, I only trade Meta, Google, Tesla, NVIDIA, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, whatever. Those are all in that basket. So I want to see how that overall basket is performing against my stock. Is my stock stronger than everything else? Is it weaker than everything else? Is it staying the same as the overall market? Stuff like that. So I watch QQQ and SPY every day, but I do not trade them specifically. Some people do. Yeah, D20 for sure. Some people do trade them. That's just not not my thing. Any thought on how do you see the market plays out tomorrow? I honestly don't know. Nobody knows, Ace Chase. Nobody knows. If they tell you that they know what's going to happen, then they're lying to you. I can promise you that. But I expect things to be kind of choppy and maybe a little weird. Maybe you see a little morning run on some things. But other than that, there's a lot of earnings coming out tomorrow on the FOMC. So I think late, like Thursday, Friday this week will be good, but tomorrow could be a bit choppy. So be smart. How do I get a trading coach? Seti, I'll send you a friend request as well. You just have to accept that for me to message you, and I can get you set up. I'll get you a link, and you can start there, or you can do premium. You can go straight to premium, and you get a coach included with premium as well. So Cool. Schwab has about 100 different weighted options. It looks like. No, I don't have any recommendations. I only trade one way. I just buy and sell options. I don't do, spreads, iron condors, cash kid puts. I don't do any of that stuff. We do have a coach here that does do that, though, Oliver, if that's what you're interested in. Do you think we could see a bear market this year? Of course, just your thought. I would bet that we're not going to see a bear market just with Trump coming into office. I think the market's very positive with him coming in, but we'll see. FOMC is not something you want to trade. Do you hold long-term position? I don't have any like big long-term positions in stocks. I do want to start building out a portfolio, but when things are right at all-time highs, it's just not something that I'm going to do. I'm kind of just waiting for another market pullback at some point in the next few years, and that's where I'll really start loading up. Just singles. Yeah, so I mean, I'm a technical trader, Oliver, if that's what you're asking. But if you are looking to do the spread kind of things, like I said, we do have a coach, and Swinging Bull is going to be your guy for that. All right. Anyways, so I'm going to kind of quickly go through some things here. I'm definitely going to be watching the video tomorrow. The one thing I want you all to pay attention to is going to be this gap here on the video. Right, we closed on what was this, Friday? We closed on Friday at 142.62, and again we opened up yesterday at 124.80. So we got give or take a $20 gap there. So above 128, 50. We actually got into the gap a little bit today and closed on highs. So I mean, I'm looking for this to go 130 plus, 133, 135, and I'll probably sell my swing. There may be a day trade on it, but yeah, Duco, that's very true. But anyways, I'm going to be looking for some recovery on this. Other than that, I mean, Meta's been super strong, but they do have earnings tomorrow, so I'm going to stay away from that. Amazon, we could see some follow through to 240. Tesla earnings tomorrow, not going to touch it. Microsoft earnings tomorrow, not going to touch it. Apple really, really strong today, but they have earnings Thursday, so I'll stay away from that as well. So probably going to be a pretty passive day tomorrow, like I was talking about. You don't trade spreads and so forth. You just trade singles. Yeah, I just trade naked options is the term for that. When we sign up for coaching, yeah, so it's you just pick a specific coach, Grand Canyon, and then obviously you can switch if you would like to, but we want you to stay with one coach so you could really work with them. We don't want you to strategy hop. That's the worst thing you could do, is try to trade 5 different ways. You want to find one way that works for you, but before you even jump into which coach you're going to pick, evaluate outside of your life. Okay. Do you have the opening hour of market open to trade? If that's a yes, day trading's, open for you. Do you want to be an active trader, right? Do you want to be buying and selling quickly and be paying attention to news every day and taking a bunch of trades? If you want to do that, day trading's for you. If you rather buy something and hold for a little while, for a day or two, swing trading is going to be where you want to go. If you have work in the mornings and you can't day trade, swing trading is going to be for you. You know what I mean? So there's a rags to riches program as well. I think that's free, actually. Or they do more long-term investing and, stuff like that. So, I mean, again, it's kind of evaluate what kind of style you want to go into. Or you want to be more of an active trader or a passive trader, and then pick which path you want to go. But again, just to make it clear, you can buy coaching flat out, or you buy premium and get access to all the premium stuff, and you get a coach included. Take care, Ace. Do you only look for living? What other investments give you residual income? Who does swing? So Mad Maverick is going to be the swing trading coach. If you just go in the free chat and just do @Mad Maverick, he can he'll get to you, I promise you. Swinging Bull is more of he's the option spread guy. So he's going to do kind of passive option stuff. How long does it take to learn? Yeah, Zuma, I think that's what's going on. I don't think it's forever though. How long does it take to learn options? It takes as long as you want to put the work in. You know, if you are going to be putting the work in and just make this like a hobby, and it's going to take a lot longer than it could. If you really, I'll get started now for you. If you take this seriously, you can learn it very quickly. I don't know if there's game night tonight. I haven't looked at the events. I don't see it on the events. Oh, it's tomorrow. Cool. Grand Canyon. Look, that's the question everyone has in the beginning, but it's not about how much you can make in a month. It's how much you're willing to risk, right? So if you have $5,000, I mean, you could go in with maybe 500 or $1,000 on a day trade with me, and you can maybe make $200 a day, right? Obviously, there's going to be red days and green days. So as long as you can make sure your losing days are small and your winning days are good, then you're fine, right? But there's never going to be like a perfect how much can I make per month. It's going to depend on your discipline. You could be disciplined for 29 days out of the month. I mean, really, there's typically only 20 trading days. So I mean, you could be disciplined 19 days of the month, be up $2,500 on the month, and then you get cocky because you've done so well and you try to make another $1,000 on the last day because you think you can't lose, and then you blow 1,500 of that or 2,000 of that. You know what I mean? So it all depends on the consistency that you can stick with. TGO, yeah, they take care, dude. We're about at the end here, guys. So if there's any last minute questions, please ask. If not, then we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up here any second. This is a good one. Yeah, Monty, of course. I'm glad you made it. Yeah, guys, I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. If you ever have any questions, please do like at Ethan in the chat. I can help you there. You can always DM me. I added a couple of you free guys for as friends. So make sure to DM me if you need me as well. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. I'm not live trading tomorrow, but I'll be at my desk. I don't have any school or anything tomorrow, so I'll be good there. But again, don't hesitate to reach out. There it is. Yeah, that's all y'all do right there. Yeah, thank you guys. All right, have a good rest of the night. I'll see you tomorrow. Later.